Hey, what's up, and welcome back to another layer by layer tutorial. Today we're going to take a look at creating some stuff in Fusion 360. Let's take a look at the project that I'm currently working on. It is the Pipboy Mark IV, Pipboy 3000 Mark IV from Fallout 4. Yeah, so I've been designing this for about a week now, and it's going to have a Raspberry Pi 2 with a 3.5-inch PiTFT from Adafruit. And instead of like showing you guys how I design this or how to design this part, I just want to take a little piece from it and show you how you can make an interesting design for your Raspberry Pi or another one single board computer, Linux computer. So if you take a look at this part here, it is the sort of enclosure for the Pi. So what I want to show you is how to use the Sculpt tools in Autodesk Fusion 360. I don't know what else to call it, the Sculpt tools. If you take a look at this button over here where I'm highlighted, there's a little overview. Look at the description. Use the Sculpt commands to create aesthetic designs. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I use, this is the only part of the Pi, or the arm is too, but the little enclosure for the screen and the Pi itself uses the Sculpt tools. And it would be very difficult to make this using primitive shapes or even the line tool. So I wanted to make a little tutorial on how you can use the Sculpt tools to make a very aesthetically pleasing enclosure for your Raspberry Pi. Instead of making this sort of flat thing, we can make a puffy, organic looking box. Maybe it'll make a good TV or something, like a little organic TV. But yeah, that's what we're going to take a look at. So let's start now. I'll make a new design. And I will save the design, because I'm going to import an existing design into it, the Raspberry Pi. So let's just call it pillowcase for Pi. Let that save. We'll wait for it to save. Now that we have our design saved, I will import our Raspberry Pi. I will hit, I already have it in their folder, so I'll hit Insert into Current Design. And it's going to place it in some arbitrary space. So what we can do, I want it to be in the center here because I like working in the center. That little circle there tells you it's in the center. So to move it in the right spot, I'm just going to click on Align, and then the object is set to Align Components. So if we roll over a spot, you can see that is the little spot that I want, and then I will select the center there, and it puts it there. Okay, not exactly in the center yet. It kind of is relative to that spot, but you can hit Move, click on the component. I have to hit Move Component first, and then click on the component, and then I can just rotate it, right, 90 degrees. Now it's kind of in the center, so I can work from it on the top there, like that. Okay, so now we have it placed where we want. So now I can start modeling around it, because I'm going to make an enclosure for the Raspberry Pi. So what I'll do is, to get into that mode, you can click on this C. Yeah, just change workspace. I don't see Sculpt. It used to be in here. Not sure why. Updates happen. So we'll click on this button, Create Form. And I am now in the Sculpt workspace environment. So you can see in here that our component is now sort of see-through because we can model around it, which is nice. So now you have these tools. So you have Create, you have all these options, you have Modify options, you have Symmetry options. So let's just start with the basic stuff. I will click on a box. Now it's going to tell me, well, it's not going to tell me, but I'm going to tell you, where do you want to draw? Where do you want this thing? So I'll select this plane here. I'll just click on that. I want to work from the top. And it selected the wrong plane. That's not where I wanted. So hit Cancel, hit Create again. And then we'll click on the actual top part. You see, it's all like weird. Let's hide the Pi, and then just click on that face. And now I am at the top. So go to the top, bring back the thing. Well, not really. Let's click on the center and then drag out some sort of thing, and let's click again. Now I have our little box puffy shape almost there, right? Well, let's bring back the Pi. There it is. So now we can see through it. That's really nice. So in here, in this little panel, we can start modifying the length, the width, and the height. So that's what I want to do. So I'll put like 130. Over here, we'll make it 100. Over here, we can put 50. And what I'll talk about next is the surfaces, right? So the subdivisions is what I call them. The more you add, the more detail you get, and the less puffy it becomes. So you can do that here, you can do that over here, you can do it over here. But I'm just going to leave it at 2 by 2 by 2 because it's when you have the least amount of subdivisions, the more puffy it becomes. So I like it like that. And you could always add more if you want later, but that's pretty much it for now. You can see here it's not exactly in the center. We'll fix that in a second. Hit OK, and now I have my form thing. If you want to move the form, this is driving me nuts. I'm going to right-click on it and then go to Physical Material and then open up Glass and then just drop that in there. Now I can see through it. Yay. Okay, so you can see I need to move it down a little bit. So let's do that. When you click on the object, it just selects one thing. If you double-click on it, it selects the whole thing. So now I can hit Modify, which is the equivalent of moving the object. So I can just move it down like that. Hit OK. And that seems to encompass it for the most part. So if you wanted to move it a little bit, like smush it and pull it and things like that, you can totally do so. You can grab one part, hit Modify, and then watch what happens when you move it. It starts pulling it organically that way. So that's kind of interesting. We don't want that though. But that's it. So I want that shape. And now to make this into a functional case, I need to start cutting away from it. If I were to print this just like that, it wouldn't print too well because it's got such a puffy shape here that it's not flat at all. It would require a lot of support material and it would be kind of janky. So what we need to do is make it flat. So to make it flat, I could either flatten it in the Sculpt environment, or I could simply chop away from it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to use this here offset construct tools to make little planes. So let's do that. I'll hit the construct button, and it's going to ask me, hey, you want to capture this because you moved stuff around. Hit OK, capture it, no worries. Next thing, I will hide the pie and the body, and then reveal the origins. That's the X and Y, Z planes. And it's set to plane right now, the offset plane. So I'll click on that. And now it's created a offsetted plane. So I can move this up and down. And I'll bring this back and this one back. And you can see in the side view, how much do you want to cut off? I want to cut off about right there. So I'll hit OK. Now, to actually cut, we'll need to I'll hide this, show the plane, OK. So I'll go up to here and hit Split Body, which is under Modify, and then I'll click on the body. It's highlighted. Now I'll change it to Splitting Tool, and then if I click on Plane, the plane we just made, you can see it's giving me a preview of what it's going to cut. So from there, so I'll hit OK, and now it's cut. So now what I can do is click on that piece that we cut off and then right click on it and click remove. If you hit delete, it won't delete it. It's weird like that. So instead of delete, you should hit remove. So now we have removed that piece and it's in the timeline here at the bottom. This is where all the operations we've done so far. So it's been removed. And now we have a flat piece. We could actually print this now, like if this was the bottom, and print that, but the bottom isn't flat, so we need to make another offset plane thing. So again, click up over here, hit construct offset plane, and then I'll click on that bottom piece there, and then we'll move it down just a bit like that, hit OK, hide my origin, and then I'll hit split again, click on the body, select, I can't get to it. Oh no, well that's fine. I can just hide it like that, and then click on the plane that we want. Like that, make sure it's okay. Bring back the body. Hit okie dokie, and now hit split the bottom part. And I can select it and hit remove. And now we have our little puffy enclosure thing with 2 flat surfaces. Yay! So now we can print it on either that spot or that spot. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a shell. So I'll bring back the pie with the screen, and then I want this the top, right? This is the top. So I will select that face and then click shell. Now I can shell this out. It says no, you can't shell it out. I'm sorry. Adjust the values of changing the thing. So we can't shell it out because of maths. That sucks. If I hit 1, it'll shell it. And because it's too curvy there, you can see, it's kind of lame. So if I wanted 2, it won't let you. So to fix that, what we can do is we can come back here, double click on the form, double click on it, and now we're back in the editing mode. So what I can do is hold down shift, or you know what, I'll show you guys how to use the symmetry. So I'll click on that, and then I can select any bodies that are parallel to each other that you want to, not parallel, but you know, like this. Here, I'll show you just 1, 2, and now anything, I'll hit OK. Now, you see that green line there? That's the point of symmetry. So if I click on that, it'll click on the other part. So that's cool. So now I can hit these 4, click on modify, and pull them up. See, the problem was that it was intersecting with that bottom piece. So if I give it more area to work with, hit OK, it should be able to split it now. So I'll hit finish form, and now I have the puffy shape, but it's not so curved inward. So now if I apply a shell to that top surface, not bottom, I should be able to do 2 or 4 or whatever, because there's no intersection. Maths work out for this. So I'll hit 1.5, which is my favorite. So now I have 1.5 as a shell, and I'm almost there. I almost have a interesting little case. So that's cool. The next thing I want to do is make standoffs for the case. So what I can do is I'll hide this body, and I already have the mounting holes here, and I'll hide that. So what I can do to make standoffs is I will project these little circles and then make standoffs from them. So I will hit P on my keyboard, or it's under Sketch, Project, not Project, but Project. And then I'll just click on that bottom surface. So there we go. So I have my, it basically just makes a copy of that body and makes it into a sketch. So that's cool. So what I'll do is to make the actual standoff bits, I got the hole already, I just need the standoff outer thing. So I'll hit O on my keyboard for offset, and then I'll click on one of the circles, and then I can drag my mouse outward to make an offset. So I'll make it 2, like that, and I will do that for each one of the holes. 2, enter. I'm hitting O on the keyboard, O, click, drag it out. You can type in your value. In this case, I want 2. O, click, drag it out, hit number 2, hit enter. And now I have those bits. So what I can do now is I will hide the pie and bring back the body case. And then I can hit E on my keyboard, E for extrude. And I can click on those bits, the standoff parts, and just select. I'm not even holding down shift, I'm just clicking, and it adds to that operation. And then I can go like this to add to it. But the thing is, you're going to see that the pie, it's probably going to intersect with the pie, right? Yeah. So I'll have to move the pie a little bit, and it's not flush with the center. So what I'll do is I'll hit two-sided for the direction, and I'll change the extents to 2. I want to extend to that bottom. And then increase this piece. I can't. Let's just go back to 2 and then change the distance to distance. And then do this, do that. We'll just futz with it a little bit here. So it should be right there. And this can be, I don't know, that tall, for example. And then instead of the operation cut, we'll make it join. And we'll take a look at it. Yeah, that looks good. That's okay. Now I hit OK, and now it's glued to it. It's all one piece now. And this is making it so you should see there's no hole at the bottom. If you wanted to make a hole at the bottom, you just extrude this piece here, the center piece in the bottom. But I don't want to reveal the screws for this project, so that's why we can screw it from the top. So what we'll do is we'll have to move the pie now, which is fine. We can just click on the move button, click on the pie. Oh, that doesn't work, does it? Click on the pie and then hit move. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, that works. So then we can just bring it up a bit to where it's sitting, resting on top of those standoffs. Hit OK. And so now we're getting there. We're getting pretty close. We almost have an enclosure. We need a cover now. We need a little cover top. So before I make the cover top, I want to show you some things. We've applied a couple of different things, right? We've added some standoffs. We made a shell. If you wanted to change the shape, you totally still can. Check this out. I'm going to double click on that timeline form, and you can see I'm back in the form editor thing. So now I can select some subdivisions, hit modify, and then let's say I want to bring this in more. I can still do that. I'll bring it in to maybe about, I'm hitting the wrong button, sorry. That right there is like a scale tool. I don't want to scale it, I want to push it. So I'll use the arrows to do that, not these little guys. So now you can see I can push it, right, and pull it. So pull it inward just a bit like that. Hit OK. And then you can see a ghost of what it was before. So that's really nice. It's a handy little thing there, a little onion skin, maybe you can call it. So I'll hit finish form, and then it'll bring me back to the future. And there you go. You can see that it carried over all those edits. So that's really nice. All my standoffs are still there, and that's really cool. So I can, what I'll make is a cut here in a second, but I want to make the cover next. So to make the cover, what I'll do is I will do another project sketch. I'm basically just going to project this surface here so that I can make a cover. So I'll show you how to do that. We'll hit P on our keyboard. It'll capture, capture again. It asks us, hey, you move stuff around, so you want to capture that. I will select this piece here. And then we're gonna use this sketch to make that that surface, the top. But what I want to do also is make a lip so that it snaps into place, right? So to make the lip, I can click on the offset, or O on my keyboard, and then select this little piece here, and then I can drag it out here. So I'll put 1.5, and that's going to be my lip. So I'll stop the sketch now, and I'll come in here, and I'll select these 3 sketch things at the areas of this sketch. It's just one sketch. And then I'll hit E on my keyboard, and now I can create that cover. So I'll do maybe 2. Yeah, let's do 3. Why not? And if I hit OK, you'll see that it's now glued to it. Oh no, that's okay. If we want to go back to that, we can go down here, double click on that extrude, and then change the operation from join to new body, and it'll create a new solid from that extrude. And now it's 2 pieces, so you can see that here. Now to make the lip, all we need to do is bring back that sketch, click on that lip area, the little offset that we made, hit E on my keyboard for extrude, and then pull it up a bit, maybe like 2. It's going to be -2 because it thinks it's negative, but it added to that. The operation join was automatically there. If we wanted to make it a new solid, we could, but there you go. You can always change that later, so that's really nice. That's what's really handy about having a parametric timeline. So now we have our little case cover, and the next thing we need to do is create a cutout for the actual screen. So again, I'll hide all this stuff, and I'll hide this one, that sketch there. And this here, this little solid is actually the screen cutout. So instead of using this actual solid to cut away, I can create another sketch. I'll hit P on my keyboard, click on that, hit stop sketch, because that's all I want from it. Hide the pie, and then show the case, or the lid rather. And I can't access it yet, so I'll just hide it for a second. Click E on my keyboard to extrude. Change the direction to two-sided. Or actually, let's change it to symmetric. So that when I pull it, it pulls the exact same value out that way. And you see it's making a new solid. If I bring back the case, or the cover, it'll automatically change the operation to cut, because I want to cut that away from it. So I'll hit enter. And now I have the screen cutout for the screen. So I can bring back the case, the pie, just to get all that in there. So we're looking pretty good. Now if you look at it, it's a little flat. It's no longer puffy. You can just add a fillet. You can hit F on your keyboard or click on the icon. I'll hit F. Click on that. Make it a value here. It won't let me. So put 2 or 3. Yeah, so now it's all nice and puffy. We still have that flat shape so that we can actually print it, and it's looking pretty cool. This is a really simple case, guys. No screws. We can screw it from the top and then place the PiTFT on top of that, and that'll be all good. The last thing I want to do is make a cutout for the ports. So to do that, I will hide all this stuff. And I'll make a new sketch up here in the sketch area. I'll click on the rectangle. Click on, I guess I'll click on one of these guys, which is okay. It'll put me in some weird spot, which it always does. And then I'll create a rectangle. It's arbitrary, it doesn't matter to me right now. You'll want to be very careful about it, obviously, if you want it to be very symmetrical and things. So I'll hit stop sketch, and there's our little sketch that we've made to make a cutout for the ports. So I'll go ahead and hide the pie, because I need to make a cut to the case. And then I'll hit E on my keyboard. I have to select both of them, and then just pull it out like that. Looks like it's cutting it out like that, and now we have created a cutout for the ports. I can bring back the pie. So there's our ports. We have access to the ports. You can be really intricate about it and make little pillars or whatever for each little port. So you could have done that if you want, but I'm making it really simple and easy. So now we have our puffy little enclosure. Let's say I want to make another fillet at the bottom here. I can hit F on my keyboard and click 2. It's got that bug again. I'll just change it up here to 2 or 3 or 4, whatever you want, like that. And it did it. That's nice. Did not have a bug. Let's take a look inside of it real quick. Get rid of the... Did it make it flat like that? I want to see if it's killing it a bit. Yeah, it is. So what we can do is we can grab this and then bring it all the way back over here before we did any splitting, I think. That way the you see, so yeah, that's a cool thing. You can actually drag your features around before because I just don't think that there needs to be a fillet here too in order, for maths. So I don't think I can bring it back all the way. Yeah, it won't let me do it before the the thing here. So, you know, that's for another tutorial. But anyway, that's pretty much how to make an enclosure with a puffy shape using the these guys here, the create form, sculpting form, element things. So yeah, you can say you wanted to update it, you wanted to change the shape again, maybe there's too much area over here. Let's go ahead and double click on it. Click on this area, click on that area, hold on shift, hit modify, and then I'll move it inward just a bit, like that. Again, you get that update thing, it shows you how much you've changed. I'll hit OK, hit edit finish form, brings me back over to the future, and then you'll see how it's updated it. It's carried over the fillets, it's carried over the shell, and that's really awesome. So that's just a quick look. Not quick, it's probably like a half hour, but that's a layer by layer, a very step involved, and then I can make, of course, another cutout for this, and then just keep tweaking it and tweaking it. But the cool thing is that you can keep going back to your parametric timeline and modify edits, bring them forward, move them around, and make a really aesthetically pleasing enclosure. So a lot of that tweaking was made here in the Pipboy, and that's pretty much the same. I mean, take a look at it. I just have this little flare thing going on there, which is instead of like if you wanted to make that flare when you're extruding, you actually get this. I'll show you real quick. Let's say I want to, let's hide all the stuff here and show the screen cutout one. Just gonna be this one. Nope, this one. Okay, so let's say this is actually how I did it. So I'll hit E on my keyboard. Watch what happens when I pull it out. I get this little thing here. So that's all I did. I just flared it out like that. And now you have like a little flare. So that's cool. And then you can, of course, come back into it and change it. But that's how I did that. So, yep. Using a bunch of different features to create a little puffy enclosure. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It is a long one, but I hope it covers basically all the stuff. There was no editing in this one. It was just straight on how to do it. But yeah, there you go. If you guys have any questions on what I did or what key commands or anything like that, let me know and I will comment back on you on YouTube. But there you have it. I hope you take a look at using Sculpt tools, environment, create form inside of Fusion 360, because you can do a lot of cool stuff. In my last project, the purple people eater, I used that to create that very puffy purple eater form. And yeah, that's what I did. A lot of those cutting and splitting was pretty much the same for the purple eater, but now in this very symmetrical thing for the Raspberry Pi enclosure. So I hope you take this and start making puffy designs. But yeah, again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.